This is episode 150. I'm your host, Lori Seitz, and I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate all the work that's gone into getting to this milestone. To share my gratitude for all the guests who've trusted me with their stories, for the editors and production teams who've put it all together, and for you for listening, leaving a review, and sharing with your friends. I knew I wanted to do a solo episode for this one, but honestly, solo episodes are so hard for me. I feel like I never know what to talk about. It's easier to have a conversation with another person, ask questions, and draw out their experiences. That's what I'm good at. But I keep challenging myself to do them because challenging is how we grow. And because people are always telling me they enjoy the solos. In past solos, I've talked about courage, doing what others won't do, energy, and making decisions. If you're not familiar with what I do outside of this show, I work with business leaders and corporate teams, giving them tools and techniques so they can be more focused, resilient, and collaborative. So they can manage the distractions in their head that keep them from being as productive as they'd like. So they can move projects forward with less stress and drama. One of those techniques is meditation, but there's often a lot of resistance around meditation, what it is, how to do it, et cetera, et cetera. So let's instead call it grounding or calming exercises. Whatever you call it, the fact is that there's a ton of research behind how it works to reduce stress and anxiety, enhance concentration and attention, and improve interpersonal relationships. It can reduce physical pain, reduce cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and help you sleep better. Additionally, practicing meditation reduces inflammation in the body, which is a major cause of diseases from cancer to diabetes to heart disease. When I started Find is a four-letter word, I included a bonus meditation after each of the episodes. They were a lot of work to create. And after creating about 50 of them, I got tired and stopped. For this episode, though, I'm going to do another one, which you can access as a separate bonus. I also have a special offer for you at the end, so make sure you stick around to the end. Before we get to that, though, let me break down some myths and misconceptions and share with you some interesting information about this technique that can literally change the way you see the world and the way you live life. If you're open to improving your health, creating better relationships, and adding more joy to your life, then let's fucking go. First, a quick background on my introduction to meditation. When I was 10 years old, my mom took my brother and me to a meditation course now known as the Silva Method. I used it for a little while and then became a teenager, and you know how that goes. Over the next 35 years, I would go back to it once in a while for a few days, maybe a week, and then skip a decade or so. After my mom passed away 10 years ago, I started reevaluating my life. I didn't want to keep living like my hair was on fire. No doubt you know what that feels like. Maybe you're living that way right now. It doesn't feel good. And that's when I came back to meditation as a way to stay balanced and grounded, even when the world around me was unpredictable. Friends and colleagues noticed nothing seemed to rattle me. They kept asking how I achieved this sense of inner peace and if I could teach them how to attain it. And that's how I got here. For a long time, people considered meditation simply a spiritual practice, like prayer, which can be considered a form of meditation, or something only woo-woo hippies did while sitting cross-legged on mats at an ashram for 18 hours a day. However, there's now a whole lot of supporting research on the topic. Because meditation can decrease anxiety, it builds resilience. You'll spend less time stuck mulling over past mistakes and worrying about what might happen tomorrow. A study at the University of Western Ontario followed an 8-week mindfulness program. Results showed participants experienced a 32% decrease in stress, a 30% decrease in anxiety, and a 29% decrease in depression. Meditation gives you the ability to feel strength to act in the present moment. That means you'll perform better in stressful situations. Meditation enhances creativity. When you are in a more meditative and relaxed state of mind, that's when you get the greatest insights and biggest breakthroughs. Have you ever noticed the ideas you get when you're in the shower or out on a run? It's because your mind is in that relaxed state. The Harvard Business Review conducted a study on brainstorming. One group was asked to brainstorm after a 10-minute guided meditation, and the other group was asked to brainstorm without the meditation. While all the participants came up with ideas, the ones who meditated first came up with a broader range of ideas, showing that as little as 10 minutes of meditation can boost creativity. Brain imaging research shows meditation helps regulate your emotions. It boosts your emotional intelligence. You develop greater patience with situations and people. You become less likely to react impulsively and get frustrated in emotionally charged situations. It allows you to maintain peace of mind no matter what's going on around you, which means you can make more logical decisions. Along with regulating your emotions, meditation increases your sense of connection to others. And when you feel connected, you become kinder and more compassionate. Our world can certainly use more of that. So you can connect with your clients on a different level and serve them even better. The same goes for connecting with your team members. Even your personal relationships will improve because your willingness to get drawn into conflict decreases. Listen, staying focused is a challenge we all face. We've got texts and emails and phone calls and 9 million other distractions pulling at us. Meditation helps you stay focused on tasks at hand and helps you discern what information is important and what isn't, so you can understand what to even pay attention to. A Harvard study determined that meditation helped participants take in and evaluate information faster and screen out distractions better, an ability that is especially valuable in today's world. In conjunction with improving your focus, meditation improves your memory, which makes sense because if you have better focus, you'll retain more of the information you're taking in. All of these benefits are why so many high-performing business leaders feel so strongly about practicing meditation in any form. People like Sir Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group, Virgin Records, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Hotels, etc. Padmasree Warrior she was named by Forbes as one of the 100 most powerful women in the world. Huffington Post CEO Arianna Huffington, Ford Motor Company Chairman Bill Ford, and Wall Street icon Ray Dalio, who, if you want to talk as far from woo-woo as you can get, I think Wall Street is it. Ray actually said, meditation has probably been the single most important reason for whatever success I've had. And world-class athletes like Carly Lloyd, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Misty May Trainer, and Kerry Walsh Jennings, Novak, I'm going to mess this up, the tennis player Novak Djokovic, and so many more. So you've got all these great reasons and research supporting the importance of meditation. Why isn't every person on the planet practicing it? Why wasn't I doing it consistently for those 35 years between when I learned it and when my mom passed away, when I knew it could change my outcomes? Well, there are a lot of myths and misconceptions around meditation. One of the things I hear all the time is, I can't meditate because I can't stop the thoughts in my head. The truth is, everyone is challenged by those thoughts. Even people who've been practicing meditation for years still have thoughts coming and going through their mind when they're meditating. I call this puppy mind because imagine the energy of a puppy jumping and bouncing all over the place. I guess we could call it kitten mind as well, right? The practice is to recognize those thoughts and then let them go. To recognize those thoughts and bring your attention back to your breathing, to your mantra, or the sound of the meditation teacher's voice. Recognize and acknowledge the thoughts and then refocus your attention. You might have to do that every 10 seconds, and that's okay. The more you practice, the better you get at it. After a while, you might become aware that the time between each mind-wandering incident gets a little longer. Think about a baby learning how to walk. It gets up, it falls down, it gets up, it falls down. It keeps going until it actually can walk across the room. That's how it works. It's this practice of bringing your attention back to the breath that improves your ability to focus and stay calm. Exactly what makes people think they're not good at meditation is what's actually making them good at it. This exercise carries over to when you need to focus on a task or a project or a conversation and you keep getting distracted, or when you need to stay calm as everything around you is falling into chaos. You'll be more able to more easily bring your mind back to peace. Reason number 2 is I don't have time. I don't have time to sit for an hour a day. There's a Zen proverb, you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day, unless you're too busy. Then you should sit for an hour. But what if instead of costing you time, meditation saved you time or created more time? This is the interesting thing about meditation. You heard all the benefits. I just shared them a little bit, a couple minutes ago. When you take 10 or 20 minutes a day to meditate, you're developing your ability to focus better. So a project that might normally take you 2 hours might only take you an hour or an hour and a half because you can give it laser focus. You now just bought yourself like an hour or 30 minutes. Plus, you went about the project in a more relaxed way, so you feel more calm and less stressed. Abraham Lincoln is quoted as having said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe." The reality is, meditation doesn't cost you time. It buys you time. Once you decide you're going to start meditating, like with any other habit, you might find yourself being inconsistent with your practice. Realize this is normal. Honestly, I did the same thing for all those years. First, allow yourself grace. You want it to become something you look forward to. This opportunity to allow yourself a few minutes of relaxation and rest. It's about creating a ritual around being kind to yourself, not adding another thing to your to-do list. You don't want meditation to stress you out. That would be bad. Then ask yourself, are you tired enough of your present condition and circumstances to make a change? Because when you are ready to make a change, it won't be difficult to get into a habit of finding 5 or 10 or 15 minutes to practice meditation. If you're not ready yet to find peace of mind and allow yourself the quiet time, then you're not ready. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Just recognize that you're not ready and give yourself grace for that as well. Second, just as there are many flavors of jam, there are various ways to meditate. What you do or how you do it isn't important. The key is finding the way that works for you and gets you to achieve the mental clarity and emotional calm. You can follow a guided meditation, listen to healing frequency music, or repeat a mantra. Some people find it beneficial to put on their favorite music and dance, or run, or move their bodies to get out excess energy before sitting. Others prefer lying down to sitting. Personally, I kind of like that. Still, others don't like to stay still and find walking in nature works better. Gardening, journaling, fishing, coloring, baking, running, praying. These can all be forms of meditation if you are quieting your mind and tapping into your own inner voice while you do them. And usually that means not having the news or a podcast or music with words on in the background to distract you from hearing that voice. I recommend beginners start with a guided meditation, so your mind has something to follow along with and come back to when your thoughts interrupt, which they always will. Personally, I like the ones with music behind them, but you may prefer no music and just the teacher's voice. Experiment and see what resonates with you. Now, you might have some questions, and of course, I have answers. Then we'll get into how to set yourself up for a good day every day. Number 1, when will you see results? You are going to see the results of meditation both immediately and over the long term. Even if you do nothing more than stop and take a few deep breaths and consciously focus on your breath for 60 seconds to 3 minutes a day, you will experience benefits. Just that short amount of time helps you refocus and recenter your entire brain and body. You're oxygenating your blood, relaxing your muscles, and lowering your heart rate. You're calming your autonomic nervous system so you feel less anxious and stressed. You're reassuring your system that everything is okay in this very moment. The effects of that deep breathing kick in right away. Then, over time, as you practice consistently, that's what I'm trying to say. As you practice consistently, you can expect to experience lower blood pressure, less anxiety, a stronger immune system, better digestion, and the ability to stay calm and grounded no matter what's happening around you. Question 2, when is the best time to meditate? Just as I recommend experimenting with different types of meditation, I encourage you to play around with what time of day works best for you. Personally, I like to do it in the morning before I get out of bed and get started with my day. It's that time when you're kind of still between sleeping and waking in what's known as the alpha brainwave state. When you're in this in-between state, your subconscious is very open to suggestions. So this is a great time to program your mind with positive thoughts and input. Since we're on the topic, let's dip into the concept of creating a morning routine. What most people do upon waking is what? Reach for their phone and start looking at texts and emails and social media feeds. Are you with me here? Is this what you do? This overwhelms your senses. It throws your body and mind into chaos and allows other people's priorities to set your mood and agenda for the day. Again, when you look at what high performers do to start their day, you'll find they implement some kind of morning routine to set themselves up for success. Often, this is when they'll do their meditation. They may also journal or pray or read something inspirational or stretch or work out. They don't shock their system into action. They ease into their day. If you can leave your phone alone for at least the first 30 minutes of your day, I guarantee your day will be much more joyful and intentional. You're going to feel less stressed. You're going to feel less like you're reacting to every small trigger and more in control. I get a lot of pushback on this recommendation because people say they feel obligated to check their email first thing in the morning. The truth is, you're not obligated to do anything. Even if you work for someone else, you're not obligated to check first thing when you open your eyes. No one even knows exactly what time you wake up. If your boss or your clients expect to hear from you before dawn, that's your own damn fault. Life is not an emergency. Retrain them to expect that they won't hear from you before 8 or whatever allows you the 30 minutes or more to transition into your day. The same thing goes for creating an evening routine. You're getting ready to go to bed. You need to protect your mind from all the negativity that you might take into your sleeping time with you. It's absolutely crucial to not watch the news or something scary before you go to sleep. because that is what's going to run through your brain as you're falling asleep and get into your thoughts and program your mind. Your mind is going back into that easily programmable alpha and theta brain waves as you transition from awake to asleep. So it's better to shut off all your electronics at least an hour before bedtime to give yourself some transition time. I get it. I get it. This is very hard to do. Full disclosure, I still struggle with this myself. And difficult doesn't mean impossible. Difficult doesn't mean you can't do it. I have clients who have created an evening routine of shutting off electronics 2 hours before they go to bed and taking a shower and then hopping in the bed to read for a little bit before they turn the light off. They found they sleep way better, meaning they're getting a deeper, more restful sleep. They're not waking up as many times at night, and if and when they do wake up, they fall back asleep faster. When they get going in the morning, now they feel rested instead of restless. Once again, give yourself grace. You don't have to be perfect at it. If you can improve the number of days you go without watching the news before you get in bed, or cut back on checking social media up until the minute you close your eyes, consider it a win. When you start sleeping better on the nights you allow yourself a quieter transition, you'll have incentive to continue cutting it out. Question number 3, how do I make meditation a habit? I recommend committing, not hoping, but completely committing to doing it for 7 days. Yes, I know some experts say 21 days, others say 2 months, and still others claim 8 months to build a habit. How about you start with committing to 7 days and then evaluate how you feel? Even if after those 7 days, you're struggling with those crazy intrusive thoughts in your head and you're still finding it hard to carve out 5 minutes, see if you're generally feeling more calm and grounded. If you are, keep going. If you're not, you can either stop, you can change how you're meditating, or you can be persistent and see what happens if you go for an additional 7 days. Think of it as building a muscle. When you start a workout routine, you might feel really accomplished after that first day, even if you're beaten sore. And then by the end of the week, you could be thinking, I don't know if this is for me. I'm not seeing any results yet. That's when you can either decide, I'm committing because this is leading me to being a better version of myself, or I'm good staying the way I've always been. There's a lot packed into this episode. I know. I stuffed it. You may want to go back and listen a second time or download the transcript and read through it if you like to consume information that way. Much of what I included here comes from my digital Staying Calm in Chaos program. If you'd like to get access to the entire program where there's a whole bunch more tools and techniques beyond meditation, you can find it at stayingcalminchaos.com. There's a link to it in the show notes. Lastly, I said I was going to include a meditation for you to get started with. Look for that as a bonus episode here that you can listen to as often as you'd like without having to fast forward through this whole show to get to it. Thank you again for listening to Fine is a 4-letter word, and I am looking forward to the next 150 episodes.